Dominic Raab will face a grilling from MPs today over accusations of bullying when he appears in front of the Justice Select Committee. This comes as a top Whitehall official had to apologise over alleged bad behaviour by Raab. So our GBNews political reporter, Katherine Forster, joins me now. Hello, Katherine. What could happen to Dominic Raab if these accusations of bullying are proven to be true?
Well, there will be an investigation. Of course, he actually requested that last Wednesday morning, just before Prime Minister's questions, after two formal complaints of bad behaviour were made against him. But don't expect anything to happen anytime soon, because there is no mechanism in place, because Rishi Sunak currently doesn't have the person appointed who will undertake that investigation, nor does he have an ethics advisor. So first they've got to find the person, then they've got to carry out the investigation. But ultimately, when that concludes, it will be up to the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, to decide what to do with the information. Now, Dominic Raab, Deputy Prime Minister, was coming out of Cabinet earlier. I've been here since 7 o'clock, and he was asked if he was confident he would clear his name. He said he absolutely was. He feels that he has done nothing wrong. His supporters say, yes, sure, he has high standards. He expects people to work hard, but he has always behaved properly. So there won't be an answer to what might happen anytime soon. I mean, ultimately, the Prime Minister, if he's found to have bullied, Dominic Raab has found to have bullied people, could be sacked from his position. But I think we're a long way off that. There's no means of knowing whether the investigation will conclude that indeed people were bullied. It's one of these grey areas, isn't it? But yes, more allegations today. That Antonio Romeo, the private secretary for the Minister of Justice, had to apologise back when Dominic Raab was Minister of Justice in a previous stint to Home Office officials for his behaviour, which just adds to this ongoing drip feed of allegations that he has created a culture of fear, that he's been very curt, very demanding, and that in fact the turnover of staff in departments that he's been in has been very high. I was in the papers today that when he was in the Foreign Office, up between 12 and 24% of people left in a given year, whereas in his private office under Boris Johnson and indeed Jeremy Hunt, when they were Foreign Secretaries, nobody left from that office in a year. So ongoing problems for the Justice Secretary and Dominic.
Super. Now, we saw Keir Starmer at the beginning of the show today set out his plans on migration and the labour market. What did he have to say, Katherine?
Yes, so he has told the Confederation of British Industry that Britain needs to wean itself off cheap labour. He said that the dependence on low wage to grow the economy is not working, and that businesses will have to accept that we need to move to a high skill, high wage economy, very much echoing something Boris Johnson said in the last year, when he also said they wanted to move to high skill and high wage. Now, Keir Starmer is very keen to be seen as pro-business. Business is very much wanting to talk to Labour now that they're increasingly seen as likely to be forming the next government. And he did have some positive messages. He said he was working on three principles: economic stability, higher skills, and a green growth. Wants to make Britain a green growth superpower. He said they would scrap business rates and that they wanted to make Britain the best place in the world to start a business. But they do have expectations of what they expect business to provide. They have said that businesses must do better in terms of investing in people, investing in training the workers that we already have here. Of course, there's millions of people not working, economically inactive, and that's gone up by about 500,000 since the furlough, that they need to do better at getting British people back into work. So they're very keen to say, yes, we're pro-business, but businesses, you need to do your bit. Also, they need to spend more on technology. We have a very poor record in terms of automation, robots, etc. The feeling is that since the financial crisis, businesses have been able to rely on cheap labour, especially from the EU. This was, of course, one of the drivers behind the Brexit vote, and that they haven't really invested in people, they haven't invested in training, they haven't invested in technology, and that needs to change.